Hello. I felt like I needed to share some thoughts on the subject about Hollywood Studios, or I should say the park right now known as Hollywood Studios. We all know it's going to be changed with everything else that's changing about it. And I am very concerned with the well-being of Hollywood Studios. And my shirt in support of it. My Hollywood shirt from Tower Terror. So there's a lot of points that I want to address. Everything about this is not scripted. These are just my thoughts and opinions and ramblings about this subject for a park that is very near and dear to my heart. But first, let me start with Hollywood Studios was honestly never one of my top parks in Walt Disney World. It is the most important park to me though. And I say that as a filmmaker first most, and a lover of the past second. Those things to me are very important, and I really am worried about the state. Now, another point let me point out before I start ranting about everything is, yes, Hollywood Studios is in need of change. It is so in need of change, and I agree that changing the park is a smart move, but what they're changing, what they're taking away is what's making me worried. And that is what I want to take straight. I know things have to go. I know they have to make progress. I know they have to make changes. That's all good. But what they're taking away, most of it, okay, but there are certain things now that yeah. I know that this is old news and construction has been going on, that they have announced that they're changing the park, but it hasn't set in until they actually put the walls up about a week or so ago. The one thing that I really enjoyed, and I am sad that they couldn't move it somewhere else, was the AFI showcase that was at the end of the tour. Not the tour itself. I would just go all the time. Instead of going on the tour, I would just walk in the back and go into the gift shop so I could go to the little museum area with the AFI Film Institute. And that was so important to me. The fact that they had all these props displayed, the history of movies displayed out there, the lifeboat from Titanic, and the Oscars. I mean, I have so many pictures. I'll flip right here. There's a picture of me with my future Oscar. At the time, I bought this in 2014 when it was still open. Not all the movies are my favorites. I'm actually not a James Bond fan. I'm waiting to give this to a friend of mine who is a James Bond fanatic, but I figure that's still very appreciative. They had a really nice variety of posters. So you have Singing in the Rain, which is one of my favorite films. It's definitely helped change my perception. It was one of my first films I feel like I really enjoyed and got me into the musical genre and had so many memorable scenes. And the fact that it is a part of the parks is really great, and I hope that they still keep it. I would love for them to move that Singing in the Rain umbrella over to another part of the park. Backlot was used as a filler for the time being since you had that empty space. The meet and greet for Mike and Sully, that's very replaceable. If they want to do it, they can put it in any other land. Any of that stuff, it was very minimal, and I can understand why you need to go, and it could be moved somewhere else. And I know that there's nothing on the streets of America except for scenery, but that was one of my favorite places to go. Every single time that I would go there, I would have to take pictures in front of the New York area, which I know is really silly because I'm from New York myself, so I could go take a drive and be in the places, the legit real places that these parks recreated. But to me, it was an inside joke more, and it was just something that was reassuring and made me feel like I was in my home while I was in my home. Because I count Disney as a second home, and New York is my real home, but I still like to be able to be in both places. And the fact that they kind of mushed together makes me very happy. And the one thing I love to do, even though it was just something very simple, is go down the subway. And I have tons and tons and tons of pictures with that little subway that led to nowhere. And I just love trying to take pictures and send them to my friends back home and be like, hey guys, I'm home, I'm arriving on the subway, I'll be there soon. And just stupid stuff like that. And it just had a lot of imagination, and I feel like people didn't appreciate that you could pretend you were somewhere else. Kind of like with World Showcase. The reason I loved World Showcase so much is because you can pretend you're in another country without flying the 20 hours it takes depending on what country you're going to. And that is #1 reason why I'm really sad about the way the park is changing. It made me reflect, and it made me think of what the park stood for. And if you go and watch the videos of the park in the past, you can really see the progress or de-progress in the way of how it's changing. They're just copying off of what the world is doing. And yes, I know that Hollywood Studios started as a copycat off of Universal Studios. But the difference is, the one reason that I adore Hollywood Studios is the fact that you are in a immersive, historical fantasy view of Hollywood. Now, creating these worlds that are immersive and are not part of the making of the film perception is what's going to officially crush this park's identity. Right now I know the park's identity is very on edge and a lot of people don't get what they're trying to do, but this is just going to finalize it. And I'm sure it'll be successful, I'm sure that it'll look really cool, but it won't be authentic anymore. The entire park is going to change. That they're going to lose the opening of the 30s and 40s layout, and it'll just be another modern park. And we're gonna lose the history of the past. And that is why I'm scared. That is why I'm so worried about the Hollywood Studios chain. I am looking forward to what they're going to do with some of the stuff in the future. Specifically, the rumored stuff they haven't truly announced yet. The Muppets Courtyard, the fact that they changed it into the Muppets Courtyard, and the fact that there's rumors that the Pizza Planet there is going to actually become the Muppets restaurant. That was a rumor for many, many years. I really hope that that does true, because I am a big Muppets fan. I feel like growing up in the 90s, the Muppets were still on TV with the Muppet Show. They had a much bigger influence back in the 80s and the 90s, which is my childhood, so I have a good heart spot for them, and I would love for them to continue their legacy and to be able to showcase more of their work, especially with the movies that came out. I really enjoyed the second Muppets sequel, Muppets Most Wanted. I really liked that one, and I feel like they were able to modernize it but still keep that same charm that they kept when they started with Jim Henson. So I really do hope that they are able to portray that, get more Muppet stuff in that little area, and I really hope they actually get a bigger gift shop, because every time I go in there I really like Muppet merchandise, but I never find good Muppet merchandise, and it's only that one little spot of the store, and then it just goes to the same generic Disney merchandise that you can find anywhere. But that is one thing that I am looking forward to. The Star Wars stuff and the Toy Story stuff I'm really iffy about. That's where it's kind of weird. But I guess because Muppets are something that is much more general, and it's a brand, but it's a bigger brand than just one specific franchise. I know it's not making sense. I feel like it's not making sense, but I'm sure you can understand what I mean by that. Whereas Toy Story comes from Pixar. Pixar, I feel, would have been better as a whole to showcase not only Toy Story, but I know you have Cars Land in California, which works for them because of Route 66. Like, if you're gonna pick a franchise, pick one that works for the area that you have. I feel like with California Adventure, Route 66, yeah, California Adventure Route 66 and Tarzan go well together because the fact that a lot of people take Route 66 to get into California. So that clicks. Muppets works because Muppets did, even though it's zany and it does show the Muppets are real, it still had that behind the scenes quirky type of feel to it. That they were working on a show, that it's behind the scenes, that it's not just all fantasy, that they had some reality in there too with the cameos and the guest appearances. That's where I think it's different. And with Toy Story, it's really cute, but it would work better in Magic Kingdom. And Star Wars, I just feel like they're milking this bank, that the fact that they're rebooting it, and I know that's what you're supposed to do is when you have something big, but I just feel like they're jumping the gun. Honestly. I just feel like there should be so much more that they could do with the past to make it unique and to go on adventures. But I can't change anything about it. I know I'm just a person right now that's just a massive fan that's worried about the identity. I just really hope that they are able to keep the identity of the classic golden Hollywood era in the parks. They don't lose that. That's my main focus and my main point, as well as everything else I mentioned. And yeah, I guess that's it. Please leave your comments below. I'd love to have a discussion with y'all about it more. I want to hear your opinions, be able to get back and forth, have a conversation, start a conversation about this, and maybe we can kind of help change things. That would be great. I know it's impossible to do, but well, as they said, the impossible always happens. It's kind of fun to do the impossible. And I just wish we could get some more input about these parks. And the fact that we're in a world right now that's so interactive, I feel like it's very important that these people can see it. And maybe we can suggest to the parks what they should keep and what is important to keep, instead of just being like, yeah, Star Wars, yeah, Frozen, Mesa Mer, yeah. We're just gonna pick one box office movie and put it into everything, because that's what they're doing, and that is what's very As always, I hope you have a magical day. Leave a comment below. Please discuss this with me. I hope I'm not the only one, and I will see y'all next time.